Can we go to places quiet where we are quite alone? Kiss now we're whole together. We won't be on till we're done. People stare and we just ignore. What's the use in hiding out? She said all the time, and their eyes do that. Oh yeah, that. Come on, come on. Walking tall, people doing might well, and kissing all the time, kissing all the time, and I'm looking forward to much more. Pretty baby, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna snort some cayenne pepper up my nose.
Don't you ever wonder, maybe if things had been slightly different, you could be somebody else? Don't you wonder, maybe, if you took a left turn instead of taking it right, you could be somebody different? Don't you ever wonder, could I have been? Don't you ever wonder, anyone? Don't you ever wonder, well, God, could I have been? Don't you ever wonder, anyone? Wow, could I have been a parking lot attendant? Could I have been a millionaire in Bel Air? Wow, could I have been lost somewhere at Red Rocks? Could I have been your little sister? Could I have been anyone other than me? Could I have been anyone other than me? Oh, could I have been anyone other than me? Could I have been anyone? He stones, touched his hair, his shoes untied, tongue gaping stare. Could I have been a magnet for money? Could I have been anyone other than me? 23, I'm so tired of life, such a shame to throw it all away. The images grow darker still. Could I have been anyone other than me? And I look up at the sky, things open wide. They can taste what's the use in hurrying. What's the use in hurrying? Time till we almost become dizzy. I am who I am, who I am. Well, who am I? Requesting some enlightenment. Could I have been anyone other than me? And then I'll sing and dance, I'll play for you tonight. That fell our door. Dark clouds behind me sometimes, but I'll work it out. And I will look up at the sky. Please open wide. They can taste what's the use in hurrying. What's the use in hurrying? Time till we almost become dizzy. Falling out of your hold of life. Could I have been dancing, Nancy? Ooh. I'm dancing, Nancy. Could I have been anyone other than me? But I'm singing dance, la la hey, la hey, la la la. Singing dance,
morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Clap your hands, clap, clap, clap. Stomp your feet, stomp, stomp, stomp. Spin around, spin, spin, spin. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. 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 Wash your hands, wash, wash, wash. Shake your hands, shake, shake, shake. Brush your teeth, brush, brush, brush. All right. Good morning.
Looks painful. Good morning, it's Uncle Lou here. Yeah, that's right, it's me, Uncle Lou, live for you on LouTube this morning. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. This is the morning show with Uncle Lou and BVD. What will be joining us here soon. And Ballard is the guest today. We'll be adding him soon, too, because today's show may wrap up a little earlier than normal. We'll see. But anyway, appreciate all of you tuning in. We do this show 4 mornings a week for you. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. at 8 a.m. with me and BBD and Ballard today, and we usually have a guest on unless we have something going on. Let's see what BBD's problem is this morning. Yeah, good morning. Yeah, still can't hear him, so I'm not playing with that today. So just call the phone. I'm not playing around today with that. We don't have time. So what was I saying? Oh, yeah, guest on almost every day unless we have something going on, like the LouTube Talent Show. Shout out again to Flashlight PP, the least talented person on LouTube, and Rattlehead, the most talented person on LouTube. Rattlehead won himself $100. Flashlight PP won himself a T-shirt. So, yeah. Anyway, we'll do that again next off season. That was great. I loved that, by the way. But, yeah, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday at 8 a.m. Don't forget about the night show, Tuesday, Thursday night, 10 p.m. The college football call-in show. That's right. We take phone calls from people from all over. And we talk college football. And the Fan vs. Fan segment also in addition to that as well. What's up, BBD?
Hey, what's up, buddy? That's got to be an unplugged wire somewhere in your fancy setup there.
Nothing unplugged here, but doesn't matter. Don't have time to
I got you. Go ahead.
Because you got to leave early today for something really important or whatever the case. So, anyway, yeah, that's tonight, 10 o'clock, right here on this channel. Don't forget about the main channel. I'm doing all the preview and prediction videos. There'll be another one coming out today. I'll make a post about this over on the Patreon page too, but for those of you that are on the Patreon page and you're listening now, I have decided to change it up a little bit. I was doing the previews in the order that you guys wanted them on the Patreon page, and coming up was like New Mexico State, App State, some teams like that. I will still do those teams. However, I am not going to spend 4 or 5 hours to make videos on New Mexico State and App State until I know for certain we're having a season. If I'm wasting time on these videos for the season to get canceled, I'm going to waste time on Power 5 teams first. So I will, to those of you, and again, I'll make a post over there, but to those of you that requested teams like Hawaii, SMU, UTEP, App State, New Mexico State, I will do those, but that will be in August. If I do those, once we know the season is starting. I'm just not going to spend 4 or 5 hours making a New Mexico State preview and prediction video so that 400 people can watch it, and then we don't even have a season. So that's that. I will do them, though. So if we get to August and the season is still scheduled to start on time, I will do those types of teams. Army, Navy, Harvard, Celine Driver, thank you for that. But all of those teams will be in August, okay? So again, it's not that I don't want to do them, because I've done these types of teams every single year when you guys have requested them, okay? I've done Central Florida, I've done Jacksonville State, I've done Kennesaw State. I mean, so it's not that I won't do these teams. I will do them. But I think you guys understand. I can. Who's left? I mean, I haven't done Georgia. I haven't done Ohio State. I haven't done Oregon. I can do those videos, and they're going to get 10,000 views. So if they cancel the season a week after I do it, oh well. I wasted all that time, but I got 10,000 views per video. If I spend 4 or 5 hours doing a preview on SMU, 400 people are going to watch it, and I don't want to put the time in right now just for the season to get canceled a week from now or a month from now. So all of those types of teams I'm going to save for August. Again, I hope you understand. I hope you're not upset or mad. But I have to make a business decision here. I'm already going to be homeless and hungry if we don't have a football season, so I at least have to strike while the iron is hot now, while the potential still exists for a football season, by making videos that people will actually watch. So I hope you understand. You understand, BVD?
I think so.
Makes sense to you?
I think so.
Yeah. Is that what you're waiting on to make for sure that we're going to have a season before you start doing any videos?
No.
Okay. Ballard's coming on today. We'll add him here in just a minute. Is he in the comments? I haven't seen him.
I haven't not seen him either.
Might have to give him the Chess Hall treatment. I don't know. The guy begged
That'd
to
be
come
okay.
on. Please let me come on before I start school. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. You can come on Tuesday. And then now he's not here. So if
He
you
could
happen
be
to...
working on his 2021 preseason poll.
Could be. It's very possible. He wants to make sure he's got that straightened out before he calls in, because we all know that's what he wants to talk about. If you happen to see him in the comment section, BVD and I, don't stop me, whatever I'm doing, and let me know, because I want to add him as soon as we can, since you have to leave early, and I'm probably just in the show early today, too. There's not a whole lot to talk about today. But Arizona, not the state of Arizona, but the, what is it? The Arizona, Wildcats?
It is.
Okay. They have suspended ever what they were doing. Preseason workouts. The county, and let me see if I can pull this up. Pima County? I don't know. I'd have to ask Cattle Dog. I don't know how to say these things. I'm not an Indian, so I don't know how to say a lot of these words. But Pima County, I guess, is where the University of Arizona is. Is it the University of Arizona, BVD, or is it Arizona University?
Yeah, it's one of those. It's one of those.
I think it's U of A, University. Anyway, the county that school is in is ate up with the coronavirus. So says here on June 15th, the school started bringing athletes back for voluntary workouts in groups of 20 people at a time. And then a day or two later, they'd bring 20 more, blah, 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 whatever. Now, the team itself says they've only had one positive case after testing 83 athletes the past few weeks. But the county is all ate up. 3,858 cases on Sunday.
How they doing out there in the desert?
That's in one day. So they have over 7,500 cases total just in Pima County. So Arizona has decided to shut it down for a while. How long that is, I don't know. Also,
that
yesterday,
keeps up, it's going to be FEMA County.
Yeah. And this is alarming, what I'm about to tell you now. 105 students and staff total. So that's students, teachers, administrative people, whatever. Not just football team related. 105 people have tested positive at the University of Georgia.
Damn.
Keep in mind, classes don't start for another month. So no one's there.
That ain't good.
These small college towns like Athens, in the summer, the population is zero. I mean, there's no one there. They all leave. That it's not like like South Carolina is in Columbia, South Carolina. So South Carolina students can leave and go home. Columbia is still a huge city. It's not the case with Athens. So for 105 people to be positive at the University of Georgia now already is concerning to me, because here's the thing, and I want you to think about all these teams that have all these positive cases right now, okay? All of these teams are quarantined, basically. Like UGA, they're all staying in a hotel right next to the practice facility. There's no classes to go to, so it's not like they're mingling with 40,000 students every day. No, they're not. Clemson's not. All these teams that have been eat up with corona, LSU. What's going to happen the first week of August when 20,000, 40,000, 60,000, in the case of Ohio State, 80,000 students suddenly show up on campus? So I'm concerned because I keep saying this all the time. We can talk about the death rate is only this, or most young people don't die when we can talk about that all. None of that matters. If a campus gets ate up with coronavirus, there will be no football on that campus, period. There just won't. Yeah. It doesn't matter what YouTube videos we post on our Facebook page from some guy that claims to be a doctor. None of that matters. The people that are in charge of making these decisions aren't nearly as gullible as you. So if a campus or a football team gets ate up with coronavirus, that's it. It's shut down. That's it. It's 14
they care
days.
about football
nothing.
a whole lot more than us, too.
Right. Yeah. But so again, it doesn't matter whether I'm overreacting about coronavirus and you're underreacting or anywhere in between. None of that matters. What matters is these coaches, the athletic department, the university as a whole is responsible for these kids. You can choose to be as dumb as you want to, but you can't force someone else to embrace your stupidity. You can't force a 19-year-old college kid to play football with a bunch of other kids with coronavirus. So it's not going to happen. If a bunch of people get it somewhere, it's just going to get shut down. And I'm really worried about what's going to happen the first week of August when we get back. I understand the theory of like, well, half of Clemson's team and half of LSU's team have it already. That's good news because that means they probably won't get it again once the season starts. And that may be true. That may be true. But if 5,000 students on the LSU campus get it, it doesn't really matter how many of those are football players, I don't think. I just think it's, you know, if you have huge breakouts on these campuses, I just find it hard to believe that football is going to carry on. Now, I hope none of that happens. And clearly, I want a football season just like we all do. But, you know, we had a lot of good news, it seemed like, during the month of May. But the month of June was mostly bad news, it seems like to me. When is baseball supposed to start? Isn't it first or second week of July? Is that right? So coming
Spring training, yeah.
Oh, spring training. So we won't even have games in baseball until when? Does anyone
Late.
know?
I think it's the 24th, maybe somewhere around in there.
Yeah.
Late July.
I'm really starting to think if they shouldn't have just decided to play this thing in spring, because I don't think there will be a stop and start thing. They're probably going to start on time. I still think that there may be some teams that have to forfeit their week one game, just like there may be a random team that has to forfeit their week 4 game or whatever if they get too many players that can't play. But I still think they're going to try to start on time. But if it gets to the point where they have to shut it down, it's not starting back up. That'll just be it. You know, they're not going to play 3 games in the fall and the other 9 games in the spring. I don't see that happening. So I'm starting to wonder if they maybe shouldn't have just put this thing off to the spring. And I don't think
it may still happen.
I don't think we're having any fans at these games either. I think 0 fans.
Yeah, boy.
I think
I'm
0.
okay with that, though, at this point. At any point, really. I mean, but it's getting past the point of...
I read an article the other day about, which is funny because teams used to get in trouble for doing this, pumping fake crowd noise. Remember when teams... That was a thing like 10 or 15, maybe 20 years ago. That was a thing. Teams would get caught pumping fake crowd noise through their PA system or whatever. Well, I think everyone's going to be doing that now. They're probably going to say, okay, yeah, I don't know how they'll regulate that. Like you know, you can do a certain decibel level. I don't know how they'll regulate it, but
what do you think about that?
Pumping fake crowd noise?
Yeah. Now, obviously, you know, in a full stadium, it's ridiculous. But I mean, if we do end up having football with no fans, what do you think about? That's just going to be a freaking disaster too.
No fans?
No, the pumping.
Oh.
Fake crowd noise.
Yeah.
Somebody said they're going to actually have cardboard cutouts of people. I think it's in some of the NBA stadiums when they start basketball. But that is silly.
That's sillier than fake crowd noise.
I hope that was just a bad rumor or, yeah.
That would be like having a spring game and wheeling some cardboard cutout into the end zone and then having quarterbacks try to throw the ball to it, you know? Just
what
ridiculous.
Idiot would do that?
Right.
Nobody's done that, have they, Lou?
Not since Tennessee quit doing their field days when Butch Jones, instead of spring games, Tennessee had, remember
Yeah,
field
they
day?
fired that guy.
Yeah.
They fired that guy.
Remember when you were in elementary school, you'd have field
day
day.
is for Slob Olympics.
Yeah, like, the three-legged race and, all that kind of. That's what Tennessee's spring games used to be with Butch Jones was
The
there.
three-legged race would have been great.
How did he? Butch Jones would love. He had all these sayings. He loved to speak. He used to say, "It's a series of competitions."
Yeah.
Yeah, like field day. Anyway,
Bless his little old heart. He sure did try.
right? Yeah. I missed that. That's why I'm excited about like Mike Leach, even Lane Kiffin. I mean, we had Les Miles. He was very entertaining, and then he left, but we had Butch Jones, and whether you hate him, love him, hate Tennessee, love Tennessee, whatever, like his press conferences were entertaining. It might have been a little bit embarrassing to Tennessee fans.
Butch Jones's press conferences were entertaining?
Oh, my God, yes.
Oh, my God, no.
Yes. Not
No.
Maybe not for Tennessee fans because maybe they were
Definitely not for
embarrassing to
Tennessee
y'all, but to
fans.
everyone else, it was comedy gold.
No, just the continuous use of the word individual and
Oh, we loved it.
maturation.
Yeah.
And, oh, my God.
When he left, like the last couple of years, like really the most entertaining thing we've had in terms of SEC head coach press conferences is watching Nick Saban and just
Nick Saban get pissed off.
seeing him treat the media like dog poop,
Yeah.
and that kind of gets old. And then you had Dabo.
It
but
gets
he's
old
in-
in the media.
Yeah. So I'm excited
usually-
for like
they
Lane
deserve it.
Kiffin, Mike Leach especially. I mean, this Mike Leach will do a press conference. He'll talk for 30 minutes. He won't say one word about football. Not one. He talk about Bigfoot, aliens.
He's a book reader.
So I'm excited to have those guys in the SEC this year to make press conferences be a lot more interesting, a lot more entertaining, So,
Press conference.
yeah.
That's what I'm headed for this morning.
Ballard, appreciate you deciding to show up this morning, buddy. You're only
almost.
25 minutes late.
That's better timing than some people
That
we
is true.
not had on the show.
That is true.
Better timing than some people that didn't show up for their own show last night.
Email me your phone number, Ballard, or lost track of time. Oh my God. Chess Hall Jr.
Did he really just say that?
That's
he
what
did.
he said. Lost track of time.
How do you lose track of time?
I don't know.
You lose track of your watch?
Email your phone number to crazyuncle.lou@gmail.com so we can add you to the show because might be wrapping the show up a little early today.
Gonna need you to do that in a timely manner too.
Yeah, don't lose track of it either. Do it now. Stop walking your dog. Email Crazy Uncle Lou your phone number, which honestly you should have done already. Just to let you know. But, guess who I saw on a live stream this morning from last night, though? I didn't catch it live, but I happened to see it this morning.
Who's that?
Not 8 camel toes. 7 camel
Was
toes.
it the real 7 camel toes?
It was the real 7 camel toes.
Hmm.
So,
The fake 8 camel toes was in the comments section of a live stream that didn't happen last night.
that's true.
What the real 7 camel
Ballard
toes
says
have
he's
to
doing...
say?
Okay, Ballard, you're just banned from the show for 30 days. He said he's doing some chores. You're the one that emailed and begged to come on the show because you're starting school soon, blah, 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 blah. And then I put your name in the title that you're going to be on, and then you lose track of time. Then you act like it's a surprise that you're supposed to be on this morning, and now you're telling me you have some chores to do. So
He says he just finished.
You have 30 days to finish those chores. Warzone, thank you for the super chat this morning, sir. I appreciate that. He says, good morning, Lou. How do you feel about Georgia having 9 QBs on the roster? I get the point of the question. I was surprised. If you saw my JT Daniels video, I was shocked. I mean, that came out of the blue to me.
Wait, they really do have 9 quarterbacks on their roster?
No.
Okay.
No, he's exaggerating to emphasize his point. So I was surprised we got JT Daniels. I mean, I don't keep up with like the transfer market and all that well, but everything I had heard about JT Daniels mentioned teams not named Georgia. Tennessee in particular was one that we heard a lot about. So I was shocked when we got him. Now, I don't know that he's going to even be eligible this year. My guess would be no, but I'm never surprised. Regardless of what the NCAA decides on these eligibility waivers, it never surprises me anymore one way or the other. I might disagree with it depending on which way they go, but it doesn't surprise me. There's no rhyme or reason. It's almost like they flip a coin sometimes. So I don't even know that he'll be eligible. If he is eligible, I don't know that it would matter unless Newman were to get hurt. I think Newman's going to start and play the entire season as the starter. Now, maybe the possibility exists, depending on how good JT Daniels is when once he gets here, that he could start next year. Because Newman is a one-and-done guy. JT Daniels would have, I believe, one more year of eligibility.
He work out great for you guys.
JT Daniels could go pro after next season. If we end up keeping Brock Vandagriff, if he keeps his commitment, Brock Vandagriff would show up in 2021. So we would have Brock Vandagriff, Carson Beck if he doesn't transfer out, which I think he will at some point, and JT Daniels to choose from next year. And of those 3, maybe JT Daniels would get the nod, then he would be gone. If no one transferred out, then in 2022, you would have Carson Beck in his 3rd year, Brock Vandagriff in his 2nd year to choose from, and I would assume Brock Vandagriff would then get the start for 2 years and go pro. So that would be the plan up through like 2023 if it were up to me and I could force, Carson Beck to stay and all these, Vandagriff to keep his commitment and all this kind of stuff. That would be ideal to me. DeJuan Mathis is the wild card here to me. I'm not real sure which way he's going to go. I'm not sure if he'll stick around. I'm not sure if he maybe gets a lot of playing time this year. I'm not sure what ends up happening. He's the one I'm least sure about. The other guy, Stetson Bennett, you can just forget about him. I mean, I don't think he'll ever take another snap.
What would be ideal for me and probably a lot of Tennessee fans and a lot of other SEC fans in general would be that all of those quarterbacks suck. Not going to happen, but that would be an ideal scenario for us.
Well, that's the best part about his question is that odds are one of those QBs will not suck.
Well, you got something bad going on there.
What?
And that's not even on me.
What's not on you? Anybody have any idea what BVD is talking about?
No, you knocked something loose or something there.
Okay.
No, it just bad connection there for a second, but you're back now. Okay. We'll blame that on Ballard.
All right. Speaking of Ballard, I'm going to call him. If he doesn't answer, then he's permanently banned.
He says he's ready.
Well, he says a lot of things.
Drum roll, please.
All right.
Yep.
Did you get your bed made?
Yep.
Walk the dog?
Looks nice.
Walk the dog?
They're not here.
Take the trash out?
Yep.
Clean your room?
Got all of it.
Do the dishes?
Yep.
Mow the back
Wash my
40?
car.
Okay, good.
Yep.
Good.
Get on the Uncle Lou show, barely.
Good.
Yes.
Now, I want you to admit to me, God, and everyone watching and listening, how ridiculous it was for you to call into my show last week and ask me to give you a preseason 2021 poll.
Okay.
I want you to admit that's ridiculous.
I'll admit it is ridiculous.
Okay.
That I
You
called
understand the
in. Hold on,
2020.
hold on.
You understand the 2020 preseason polls are not out. And
You're right.
that's the current
You're
season we're about to start. Those
I
preseason
got it.
polls aren't even out. And you called me up last week and wanted me to give you a 2021 preseason poll. I want you to admit that's ridiculous.
I just thought you were that much of an expert, Lou. I mean, what do you want me to say?
I want you to say that was ridiculous.
It was ridiculous.
Thank you.
I shouldn't look that far ahead, if anything, at least for polls. Although I do think if Clemson and Georgia have great years in 2020, if we get a season, they could be, top 10 teams, obviously.
Clemson and Georgia
was
will
ridiculous.
definitely be preseason top 10 teams. I mean, so
That's
I
true.
don't understand. Anyway, that's just going to piss me off again because the entire concept of that is just ridiculous. Half the population on planet Earth complains every year about preseason polls because they're meaningless and they come out before any games are played. And you want a preseason poll 2 seasons in advance. I mean, that's just insane.
That's true.
So, but other than that, though, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, and I hope my dogs are. I'm up here in Alabama for the summer, so I don't have them. So you don't got to worry about that.
Right. Right. Now, what part of Alabama about you in?
Around a small town outside of Birmingham. What do they call it?
Outside
Helena
of
or something?
Birmingham. Okay. Outside of Birmingham. I got you.
Could you paint me a Birmingham, Ballard? You had to.
Maybe.
Could you bake me a honey ham?
I
No
could
way.
try if I followed the directions on the back.
I'd,
Yeah, I have a
I'd rather
feeling.
you paint me a Birmingham.
Yeah, I have a feeling you can't even make a ham sandwich, much less bake a honey ham.
I don't know. He is 18, Lou. Surely he's crossed the making of a ham sandwich threshold by now.
Ballard, you
Yeah.
ever got
I'll
caught?
make a tomato.
You ever got caught basting your ham?
No,
Okay, good. That would be
haven't done
embarrassing.
that much cooking.
That would be embarrassing.
Is your 2021 Thanksgiving ham ready?
Question.
I got it in storage.
Hey, what are you getting for Christmas, you think, in 2021? Have you thought about what you want to ask for? Not this Christmas coming up. Not this Christmas coming up. I don't care. I don't care, and it doesn't matter what you're getting for this Christmas coming up. I'm talking about the following Christmas in 2021. What have you asked for that Christmas so far? You have a list?
I'm hoping to get a 15-0 Alabama national championship ring, because that's going to happen in 2020. So, and that'll happen.
I can guarantee you, Ballard.
Do what?
I can guarantee you that on Christmas 2021, you're not getting any kind of national championship.
One of the best.
Too soon.
Man,
You're gonna have to look to 2022 for that one.
I don't know.
Yeah, so
Probably get a new
2022.
laugh. I don't know.
A new laugh?
Yeah. Y'all saying it's creepy and everything.
Oh,
I can hear it too. Hey, you can't help it sometimes.
no, you sure can't.
Can't help the way you laugh, Ballard.
Right.
Just own it. Own it, young man.
Tyler P. says the lines must be full. That's why Ballard can't get through. I don't know what's
Was
up with that on
Ballard's
that night
line
show.
busy when you called him?
No.
Was his line busy?
No. It's
Oh.
probably the first time it's rang since the last time we had him on the show.
Ouch.
Ballard Media says, I had just finished up, Lou. I'm sorry. I promise I'm fully ready. And it turns out you were. So thank you. Appreciate that.
Yep.
Notice who's not in the comment section today, though. Celine Driver, thank you, sir. He says, I'm going to be very early on Thursday. I can't take a 30-day banishment. We using phone or Skype. Good morning. And probably phone until BVD figures out his Skype.
Hey, I'm telling you, Skype is working with the 2 other people I use it on. I don't know what's up for real.
Yeah. Right.
I want to check your wires.
Right. There's no wire running to Skype. It's a program. So.
Really?
Yeah.
Not even one?
Not even one. So.
Damn.
And we know your internet works fine. So probably not that.
You have to have internet to use Skype? Damn. Didn't know that either.
Thank you
I'm
guys
learning
for
all kinds
those
of stuff.
super chats. I appreciate it. Here's the PayPal link for anybody that doesn't mind taking an extra step to make sure that me and BVD get 100% of your donation without YouTube stealing half of it. Yeah.
We might even
thank
show
you.
up on time to receive that.
Maybe. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Ballard,
Yep.
what do people where you're at think about the Rona? Well, first of all, wherever you're at, somewhere in Alabama, and you go to the grocery store, are people wearing masks?
When I first got here back in June, well, I guess it's still June, but
It is
we got
still
here
June.
early June. Apparently, it was like county law that you had to wear a mask. Now it's not so much because I've gone to the store a couple times. I even drove by myself for the first time yesterday. Why did I admit that? I've still been trying to learn to drive. It's not that easy, and I haven't been all around. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Don't want to get lost there in Alabama.
Right.
You don't want to turn down the wrong dirt road.
I did not see anybody. I went to the store by myself yesterday. Not anybody with a mask.
Yeah, that's why the odds of having a football season are trending down. One of the reasons.
Right. These people think, oh, it's slowing down. They're opening up. We gotta,
I think it's
we
fake.
don't need this anymore. Throw it out in the trash.
Right.
Right. I need to put it back on so we can get a season.
Do you have a when you were at the grocery store and no one was wearing a mask? Were you wearing a mask?
I absolutely was.
Okay, good. I don't
'Cause
want
I'm
you
not an
infecting
idiot.
anybody with whatever it is you have.
Even though this is nothing more than the flu, I mean,
What?
you could still get it.
Are you kidding?
Well, I mean, look at the symptoms first off.
Well, why don't you look at the number of dead people?
That's fair. I mean, the
When
flu-
was the last time?
Now, wait, Lou. I want to hear this explanation.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
I
Go
think
ahead, Ballard.
if people were more prone to the flu, it could probably still kill that many people. The flu is still pretty strong, right? If you think about it. And I guess it depends on which flu it is.
On a bad flu year,
Right.
40,000 people die in the United States in a 12-month period. Is that a lot of people? 40,000. Is that a lot?
It's kind of a big number.
Huh?
I guess 40,000 is kind of a big number.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. So what if 130,000 people have died from coronavirus in 4 months?
Sorry about that. My brother yelling in the background.
What did he yell? I heard Uncle Lou.
Well, he was asking how many flu deaths have been this year.
Just 2020.
Just in 2020.
think he was asking you that, Ballard.
No, I was asking you.
You're asking me?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you. I'm not in this argument. I'm just listening to Ballard. I'm listening to Big Brother.
Is that Mean
Tell us
Bean?
about the flu.
Is that Mean Bean?
I see.
Mean Bean, is that
Tell
you?
us.
What? Who?
Is that Mean Bean you got there?
I don't know who that is. No.
So it's not Mean Bean.
No. I don't even know who that is.
Damn it.
Is that a YouTuber?
Be a lot better if it was.
So go ahead with your story, Ballard.
I was just saying that, you know, I think the virus is serious, but I honestly think that, you know, and listen, you can sit there and say that the deaths are high, but I mean, at this point, I honestly think they're counting anything as a COVID death.
Yeah,
know,
you figured it out, Ballard. You figured it out. Every doctor, every hospital, every coroner, they're all in on it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The dead ones.
There's a lot of
Everyone's
people-
in on it except for us, except for me and you and BVD. Everyone else is in on it.
Even the chat.
Some of them are in on it.
Okay. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean or anything or throw anyone under the bus. Obviously, we have our opinions on this, but I mean, now
Is the NBA in on it?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know if they are or not.
Did they cancel
About-
their season because of the flu? They must be in on it. Hey, how about Major League Baseball? Are they in on it?
I don't know who's in on it.
Why is Major League Baseball not playing right now? They
Because of the
there's only
virus.
there's only two possibilities. They're either in on it,
Or safety.
right? So,
I
oh,
get
what
it.
about March Madness? Were they in on it?
That's not coming back this year.
Well, it's already past March, sir. So
Right.
we all know
Okay.
that's not coming back this year, but we didn't have one.
Right.
So I'm asking, were they in on it?
I don't know. I honest to God don't know who was in on it. All
The
I
governor
know
of
is
the governor
I
of
know about the
Texas,
virus.
the governor of Texas and the governor of Florida have recently reinstituted the restrictions from 2 months ago. Are they in on it?
Where, like,
Probably. I don't know.
The Vice President of the United States, Mike Pence, you know who that is?
Yes.
Okay, 2 days ago he told everyone to wear a mask. Is he in on it?
he'd be a good one.
He's
to be
not in
on
on it.
though.
He's not in
Yeah.
on it. Okay, gotcha. So I'm not in on it. Mike Pence isn't in on it. BVD, are you in on it?
No, not now. I was earlier.
So just the three of us. Everyone else is in on it, Ballard?
Listen, I don't know who's in on this virus thing. The only thing I know, and I do want to apologize about the flu comment because apparently the death rate is actually higher. I just looked it up.
Way higher, sir. You got to go back over 100 years to find a time when the flu killed this many people in a 12-month period. Never mind a 4-month period, sir. 125,000 Americans dead in 4 months.
Right. That's true.
According to who was it? Let's see. I want to make sure I get their name right.
Fauci?
Russell Westbrook, fan since 2010. He says you get 30. He says you get 39,000 for claiming a COVID death.
Really?
What Russell Westbrook in the comments says.
Yeah, he's wrong.
I wonder if trying to think of somebody here recently. I wonder if that 39,000 goes to the family of the people that are dying from this virus. Get that money?
I'll tell you who it doesn't go to. It doesn't go to the coroner. It doesn't go to the coroner in every single city in America who issues death certificates. It doesn't go to them. That much I know.
It might go to Mike Mosh because he's in on it.
Oh, he's definitely in on it.
Can we talk some actual sports and move on from this whole thing?
I
Yes.
can. Can you?
Yes.
All right, give it a shot.
All right.
Go.
The NBA is supposed to return in July. I mean, is it? I guess it probably won't because it just keeps getting worse. Can we agree on that?
Yeah,
What
we
keeps
already
getting
already
worse?
said they're in on it, so it's probably not going to start.
Okay.
What about baseball?
Baseball.
When's it going to start?
I don't know. They keep changing the date. It was supposed to be June 1st. Then it's supposed to be July, this or that. I think. Hold on.
Why does it keep getting moved back?
Because I guess all this speculation, even though it's just a guess, all right, of when it could return. July 23rd, the first game on the schedule,
All right.
Padres and Pirates.
And that's a regular season game, right? That's the first regular
Uh,
season
I
game.
don't think they'll continue on with spring training in July. I don't see how that would make sense.
Have they started spring training?
They did, and then COVID happened back in March. They started.
No. I
late
mean now.
February.
I mean, have they restarted it? They're not just sitting on their couch and then on July 23rd they're going to play a baseball game. That's not how it works. They're going to have a spring training before the season
like
starts.
practices and stuff.
That's what spring training is. Yes, practices and stuff.
I haven't seen much about practice, honestly.
Practice. Talking about practice? Actually, if there was one sport they could get off their couch and start playing, it would be baseball.
Yeah, most likely.
Well, Colorado Rockies outfielder Desmond, whoever that is, he's not playing.
I've never heard of the guy.
He's high risk, so he's not playing, he says.
He's high risk.
Washington
Is he
Nationals player Zimmerman, who's that? Says
Zimmerman.
he's not playing. He has some family members who are high risk.
He's a first baseman. He's really good too.
Diamondbacks player Leake, Leake. I don't know who that is either. He's not playing.
Mike Leake.
I don't know his first. I'm just reading the headlines on ESPN. Every baseball headline on ESPN is a list of people who are not playing this year for Major League Baseball.
Well, I'm sure it's probably, I don't know if I want to say half, but quite a few players that aren't going to play.
But I'm trying to figure out when practice starts. Does anybody in the comment section who's a baseball fan know when practice starts for baseball? Is it this week? I'm assuming they have to have at least a 3-week practice period before the game starts. So that
July
would be
1st.
Okay, so tomorrow. Thank you, Bad Dog.
Yeah.
Bad Dog, are any of those people I named big name players?
Leake, Desmond, Zimmerman.
Yeah, Leake for the Diamondbacks, Desmond for the Rockies, and Zimmerman for the Nationals. Any of those big name players? Sports Expert 101 says not really.
Bishop. There's a Giants player, Hunter
Tyler
Bishop.
P says
tested
Ryan Zimmerman is
positive.
good.
Tested
Bad Dog
positive.
says Zimmerman is the biggest, but he's way past his pronate. I think he meant prime, though. Yeah, Zimmerman seems to be the biggest name, according to the comment section. And it seems like I read yesterday some NBA player said he wasn't playing, too. Let me see if I can find that. Bad Dog, the Nets, that's Brooklyn. That's in your neck of the woods. Jordan, who's that?
Jordan.
Who?
DeAndre Jordan.
DeAndre Jordan opts
And
out. He tested positive, so he's not playing.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
That of the Dinwiddie family.
It's kind of a weird last name.
Pretty common last name in the Dinwiddie family.
Now, I haven't heard of any college football players saying they don't want to play because of coronavirus. I know we've had like some protest-related issues at a couple of schools, but maybe I just haven't heard it or seen it. But I haven't heard of any college football players saying, you know what, I've got a sick grandma or whatever. I haven't heard anything about a college football player saying they didn't want to play. I could be wrong, and I just haven't heard it. But I haven't heard or seen a college football player say that. And I don't think we had an NFL player? I don't think we've had an NFL player say they're not going to play either, have we?
I don't think so.
Not that I'm aware of, anyway.
Did you see this news where I'm sure by now you've probably seen where Saban and Alabama players made that Black Lives Matter video?
Yeah.
Did you see where that one mayor resigned yesterday because of it?
Yeah, I don't see how a racist like that ever got elected.
Yeah.
That's alarming to me.
Carbon Hill mayor.
He should have been fired. I don't even know why. I don't know how he got that. I don't know who voted for that guy.
Someone resigned because of the PSA that Bama put out.
Not only that, they said they're done. They've been a lifelong Alabama fan, and they're done with them. No, that's it. And then he said, the only way to fix this problem. Basically, he said, I wish I could find the exact quote, but basically he said that they should be killed.
He may have been the guy that put the noose in Bubba's garage.
Probably.
He said they should be killed. And anyway, so yeah, he resigned and said he's done with Alabama football. He's never watching them again. He's getting rid of all his memorabilia. He did I think it was a Facebook Live video he did. And he, so he's like, I'm getting rid of all of it. I'm done with them.
Wow.
Yeah. It says a Facebook post from Chambers on Saturday said he was selling his photos of the Bama football team and head coach Nick Saban because of their sorry political views.
Does it have the thing in there he said about killing them out or whatever? Does it have that quote in there? In that article you're reading?
No, let's see. The only way to change it would be to kill the problem out. That we're talking about? Kill the problem out.
Yeah, kill them out.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll work. Said he's done with Alabama.
Yeah. He's gotten in trouble on social media before about political stuff too, I guess.
Yeah. It's hard for racists to hide in the age of social media. They can't help themselves.
Right.
I used to try to educate them. I don't even do that anymore. I block all racists now on my Facebook page. Yeah. The list is getting long, unfortunately.
Arkansas fan, if you're trying to put a link in the comment section, YouTube's probably not allowing it.
Yeah, you'd have to be like a moderator. Can't moderators do it?
I don't know. It wouldn't even let me put a link to my own StreamYard in last night.
That's ridiculous. How are they going to get on?
Got to put it in the description.
That works too. Yep.
My thing, getting back to college football, and I think everyone can agree on this, which is unusual. The most important thing to us is safety, clearly, but forget that for a second. We just won a college football season.
Right.
So to me, the best chance of that happening is, no fans. And no one wants that, but
It's better than nothing.
it's better than nothing. Yeah. And I just don't see how you, right now it's pretty easy for the players to keep to themselves because there's no classes to go to. Most of the students aren't on campus, that kind of thing. They can sort of live in their own. Sorry.
Yeah.
They can sort of live in their own bubble right now.
Right.
But a month from now, I mean, I know we forget this sometimes, but they are actually college students too, not just athletes.
Right.
I mean, they
They're
have to
still
go to
young.
class.
Right.
They have to walk across campus. They have, and that
Well,
that worries me because it's one thing for a team to get 10 or 15 players positive now and have to quarantine for 2 weeks.
Right.
What if someone
Well,
tests positive on August 15th and they have to quarantine for the 2 weeks leading up to week 1?
Mhm.
I mean, that's bad. I mean, you're putting game plans in, so man, it's going to be,
Well, on the
I'm going to be
bright-
nervous as hell when classes start back because are these colleges going to have mask policies? I don't even
I
know.
don't know, but with technology and everything, I mean, a lot of universities, not all of them, obviously. I doubt all of them have this, but a lot of universities have it to where you can work online and still do school. Well, you can't do that with the football game. You know what I mean? You got to show up.
Right.
So, I mean, they might do something where if you're seeing where all colleges are all online because you can't go to class, then what does that say about football games,
Well, yeah, if you make the decision to do online classes, then it would be impossible to justify letting 100,000 people into a stadium. Like, it's not safe enough for 50 people to sit in a classroom, but it's somehow safe enough for 100,000 to sit in a stadium. So, yeah, I think if a school went to online-only classes, that would be a pretty good indication that they're not going to be letting any fans in.
Exactly.
Now, from a purely football point of view, I wish they would do that.
Right.
I wish
So
they
they
would
would
say,
slow
don't
down
come
the
back to
program.
campus. Stay home. Wherever you're at, stay there. Get an internet connection. Don't come back here. We're going to do this
Right.
entire semester online. Is that ideal? No. And it sucks if you're in college right now because I know the
Lose
main
the
objective of
experience.
college is to learn how to do something and get a degree. I understand that, but a big part of college too is
Making friends and
the
stuff.
college atmosphere, the college life, all the stuff that goes along with living on a college campus for 4 years. And it would be absolutely terrible to have to miss an entire semester of that and do classes online. It would be awful.
Right.
I would hate that for my kids if they were college age, and I would hate that they would miss out on that. But from a purely football fan point of view, that seems like the best option. I mean, we know these colleges are capable of implementing that because they implemented it halfway through the spring semester. They sent everyone home. All these colleges did. And they told them the rest of the semester is going to be online. I mean, even here locally, public schools, elementary, middle, and high school, they did the same thing. Everybody go home, do it online. Was it ideal? No, not at all. But it's actually easier for college students. It's easier to tell college students to do school from home than it is elementary, because when you
Right.
tell an elementary school they got to work from home, that means a parent's got to be there. And in a lot of households, both parents leave in the morning and go off to work. So that creates a whole other set of problems. Those problems don't exist with a 19-year-old. A 19-year-old is perfectly capable of sitting home by themselves, whether mom and dad is there or not.
Right.
So from a purely football perspective, I would say do that. Close the campuses down, do online school this semester, and no fans in the stadiums. That's it. TV crew, referees, players, and coaches, medical staff, whatever. The bare minimum that you need.
if I go back to school in the fall, which I'm supposed to, for college, and they say, all right, all students are working online because of COVID and everything, I'm like, well, same old, because I've been doing online school for
Right.
is it 7, 8 years,
Yeah. Bad Dog,
Hopefully
what
we'll
is
stay in
what is the now, since there's a known start date for baseball, July 23rd, that's the plan. What is the fan policy right now for Major League Baseball? If today was July 23rd, are they letting 80,000 people in Yankee Stadium or whatever, 60? I don't know how many it holds, but
I would doubt that.
what is the plan? Is it up to each team what they do? Is it based off of what state? I mean, honestly, I keep up with baseball. No fans, Bad Dog says. Okay. No fans.
I've heard rumors about 50% capacity. I'm sure that's dropped.
Well, that rumor's not true. Bad Dog said it's no fans, and he knows. So I'm going to take what he says.
Yeah, go with Bad Dog on it.
Yeah.
Speaking of no fans, Lou, Ballard, gonna let you guys finish out the show this morning. It's 5 after 9. I got to get ready to go to this press conference. So you guys have a great day. I'll talk to you later on this afternoon.
Okay.
And thanks to everybody in the comments for all you do for us. Love you. Talk to you later today, Lou.
All right, BVD. Take it easy, buddy.
Yeah, have a good morning, BVD.
See you, buddy.
Yep.
Let's see. I think this is Waikiki hit the PayPal. He said, "What's up, Lou and BVD?" I should have read that 15 seconds ago, but BVD thanks you, and I do too, sir. And I think we got a couple of super chats I'll get caught up on too. Let me check here. Yeah. Waikiki, thank you for the super chat. He says, "Can we get people that know how to adult in some way as a guest? People that know how to be on time. People that their main source of income isn't their mom." Ballard Waikiki's taking some shots at you, buddy. What do you have to say about that?
Listen, it really doesn't matter what you think. All right. I try not, being a sportscaster, I try not to let the opinions of others have any impact on me. Say what you want, hate all you want.
That's right. Tell him. Now, do you think he should call in and talk to you tonight at 11 on Fan vs. Fan?
Bring it.
All right, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right.
Ballard versus Waikiki tonight on Fan vs. Fan. Waikiki, don't let us down, buddy. Do not let us down.
That's right. It is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday.
You got a call-in show, don't you?
I do. Every Tuesday, Thursday, 10 p.m. is on Glue After Dark, the college football call-in show. Slim Shady, thank you for the super chat, sir. He says, "I'm willing to risk giving myself the Rona. I'm not wearing a mask in this truck by myself." I don't blame you there. I don't blame you at all.
They got to wear it 24/7. You're alone. Take it off.
Yeah. No, I don't blame you.
I don't get that.
Warzone, thank you, sir. He says, down here in Jacksonville, schools are doing 2 days in school and stay home 3 days and do online. I heard a similar thing. I can't remember if it was Athens or Atlanta, I think, is doing a similar thing. What they're doing here is they're giving parents a choice here. You can either send your kids to school or you can let them school from home. It's up to the parents. If you choose to school your kids at home, you can only change your mind at the end and beginning of the next grading period, which is whatever it is, 9 weeks or whatever. So if you start the school year off schooling your child at home, they have to remain at home for that first 9 weeks. Then they can opt into school if they want for the second 9 weeks.
Yeah.
But I have some questions about whether that's even going to work or not. If I was a 60-year-old teacher, would I go to work this year? I don't know. Would I subject myself to hundreds of kids? I don't know. I honestly don't know if I would. If I was 55, 60 years old. If I was 35 or 40, if I was 35 or 40, I would weigh the risks.
Right.
If I'm 35 and 40, relatively healthy, if I don't live with anyone who's at risk or whatever, maybe I go. But I have a question about whether the schools are going to end up with enough workers, and they may start day one with enough workers to run the school, but what about day 30?
Right.
If it does start to spread, I don't know. So, but that's the plan for here, is letting parents choose which way they want to, which way they want to go with that. Jacksonville also has a mask order in place, war zone. It's mandatory.
Yeah.
In Jacksonville, you have to wear a mask. Of course, Florida, Republican governor. Jacksonville, Republican mayor. So they're in on it. They're in on it too. The list of people who are in on it is getting really long.
Right. Saw some Bama recruiting news yesterday. This is kind of cool. They have a receiver named Devontae Smith. They
Yes.
just picked up a cornerback who just committed yesterday from Ohio. Guess what his name is?
I have no clue.
Devontae Smith.
Interesting.
No relation.
So they have the exact same name, but they're not related?
That's what I hear. Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense to me.
I don't see how you would name your kid the same name.
Right.
You're basically trying to confuse yourself.
I'm trying. It's not very hard.
Right.
Not very hard at all. How hot is it where you're at in Alabama, Ballard?
Yeah, about the mid 90s.
Let me just talk to the other person. They have all the answers. Can you put them on the phone?
Sure.
All right, thank you.
Hold on. Yeah, here you go.
Okay.
Hey,
How you doing, buddy?
well, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. What was the weather like there yesterday?
Well, we had, it was in the mid 90s. Then we had the dust come in from the Sahara sand, and then we had thunderstorms.
Yeah. Okay, so
It's pretty
it looks
bad.
like you're about a day behind where we were at. We were like 95 over the weekend with the dust storms coming through and afternoon thunderstorms. Now, yesterday we were like 96, 97, and the heat index was 105. So that's what
Oh,
you might have that to look forward to today and tomorrow.
Oh, well, where are you at?
I'm in Augusta, Georgia here. So yeah, I'm about 3 hours. I'm about 3 hours east of you as the crow flies.
I know where Augusta is.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's where Uncle Lou is. I'm out here in my grandmother's basement, live on LouTube for you.
Well, all right. Well, I'm Christian's grandmother.
Well, it
And they're
was a real
here.
pleasure. It was a real pleasure to speak with you, and you're helping to raise a fine young man there.
He's quite amazing. We're very proud of him.
Yeah. Okay. Y'all have done a good job. I give him a hard time, but it's because I care.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm going to give you back.
All right, Grandma.
I'm decent with average intelligence.
Right. I think you're above average,
Yeah, probably. At least football wise.
especially now that you're in Alabama.
Yeah. And I came from Florida.
Yeah, you were probably at. We had this conversation before. You said you were average intelligence in Florida and above average in Alabama, and that does make sense to me.
Right. Yeah. I still, it took me a little while just to understand all of that because I felt like it was going over my head the last time I was on the show. And I'm like, hold on, 100 people in this state. You also got this many people over here. Comparing them, it went over my head.
I find that hard to believe.
Oh, it went over my head. Trust
See,
me.
you've only been in Alabama for what, a month?
Yeah, just about. And I
Yeah.
still got another month in July.
Yeah, and already basic concepts are starting to go over your head. If you remained in Florida, you would have understood that.
Right.
Yeah.
I've gotten sucked into Alabama.
Yeah.
and
Unfortunately,
used to-
you're becoming a product of your surroundings.
That's true.
Yeah. Creeping Death says, Lou, can I call in and be on the show right now? No, but I can call you. The only way to we're on phone call today, not Skype. So the only way for me to add to to three-way is to call you. If you call, it'll kick Ballard off, and literally no one wants that to happen. So you would have to email me your phone number tonight if you wanted to go that route, which I'm not sure if you do. But if you do, email me. That would be just fine. All right. Forget 2021 for a second, Ballard.
Okay.
We know you know about that.
Right.
What week in 2020 does Bryce Young get his first start? Or does he not? Or does he remain a backup?
I think based on what we've seen between our two teams, where Alabama has had to use a backup quarterback, I like Mac Jones. I think he can get it done. But your defense is going to be pretty good this year. I think he could come in week 3. He could start that game if Nick Saban decides we got to go with the best guy possible to start out. And obviously Bryce Young would have to prove himself. Or you could see him start week 1 if, an off-season program opens up and maybe Bryce Young's just been performing so well. Or you could see it too, a scenario where maybe we make the title or a bowl game or whatever happens in the postseason. They're down, they're struggling, and you got to put in a freshman to win. So one of those 3 scenarios, I think.
I think the scenario about Bryce Young starting week 1 would have been way more likely had we had a normal offseason.
Right. But without a normal offseason,
yeah,
there's not really much, at least, that we know about him.
If I was going to bet on who's starting week 1, I would put my money on Mac Jones. But I would bet that we see Bryce Young, whether depending on the score and how the game is going, even if it's a close game, I think we see Bryce Young come in for a series here and there. And then clearly, if it's some sort of lopsided thing in the second half, I fully expect Saban to do what he's been doing the last couple of years when we have a blowout, which is take the starter out and put
and just run the score.
In this case, Bryce Young in, and then week 2 you play Georgia State. Now I think we see a ton of Bryce Young that game. There's even if Saban thinks Mac Jones is better, then why risk playing him a lot against Georgia State, right? So I think either way we see a ton of Bryce Young week 2. Week 3, if I had to bet right now, I would still bet on Mac Jones getting to start week 3. But I would also bet that we see a lot of Bryce Young week 3, even if it's a close game. And if it looks like Alabama might lose, you may see all of Bryce Young in the second half. Right. You could have a different verse, same as the first from the last 2 times we played Alabama. I'm not saying that Georgia will be out to a lead at halftime, but I'm just saying if that's what happens again, like we saw each of the last 2 times we played, I don't think anyone would be surprised to see Saban make the switch. He's done it the last two times. So it's going to be there's going to be a weird chess match going on week 1 and week 2 between Kirby and Saban.
Right.
Because
they get cupcakes to start out.
Right. With Kirby, Saban's gonna, how much of Bryce Young do you want to show? Do you want to play Bryce Young a lot week 1 and week 2 to force Kirby to prepare for 2 different QBs, whatever. And then the other way around, how much of whatever new looking offense Georgia decides to go with, how much of that do they show week 1 and week 2? Now, I'm of the opinion, again, because of the weird offseason, Georgia can't afford to come out and quote-unquote hide their offense week 1 and week 2 because you haven't had spring ball, you haven't had a regular summer camp, you won't have a regular fall camp, especially if people have to start quarantining for 14, 10 players are out for 2 weeks, quarantine, whatever.
Right, so you got to give it time to develop a little bit.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Georgia and a lot of other teams, I think that time to develop is going to be during the season, in games, because I just think everything else has been too weird. So I don't think like Kirby is going to come out and tell Jamie Newman, okay, we're just going to run basic plays week 1 and week 2 and then unleash some kind of weird Monken offense that we've never seen in week 3. I just don't think Georgia can afford to do that. I think Georgia's got to come out and basically practice in the first 2 weeks. I don't think they're going to hide anything, not even week 2 against East Tennessee State or whatever. But it still will be an interesting chess match to see between those two defensive head coaches going into that week 3 game. If they were playing later in the season, we wouldn't be talking about this specific angle of the game. But because it's so early,
right?
And because we've had no off-season workouts, really, not normal anyway, it does make the sort of Saban versus Kirby defensive mind versus defensive mind a little more interesting. I mean, the last couple of times we've played you, we played you early in 2015 in Athens, but 2012, 2017, and 2018 we played at the end of the season, SEC title game. So you knew what you were going to get from the other team offensively. Now, we know Saban switched up the quarterbacks at halftime and all that, but aside from that, you knew what the other team was going to come out and try to do, right? So there's no surprise there.
How good was Georgia? I really don't remember that 2015 game. Were they a good team that year? What did they get?
Well, that was the year. That was the year Mark Richt got fired. We finished.
Smart man.
Yeah, we finished the regular season 9-3, won a bowl game, and finished 10-3.
That's not bad.
It was sort of a typical Mark Richt year, I mean, we were a decent team.
Right.
We underperformed in the biggest games. I've given Mark Richt a hard time about a lot of things. One thing I'll never change, and I've softened on some of those things over time. Sometimes when time goes by, you look back on people that you were really hard on, and you're like, maybe it wasn't that bad. So I've softened on some things when it comes to Mark Richt. One thing I will never change my mind on about Mark Richt, and this isn't an opinion, this is true because he said this hundreds of times. Mark Richt refused to, the Alabama game was just another game. Right. The Florida game every year was just another game. No, it's not. And the players aren't stupid.
It's a rivalry.
You need. I think you need to. You need to emphasize this. This is a big game, guys. This is a big game, and he downplayed. And I understand sort of the philosophy of it's just another game type of thing, but it's You play Alabama. I think both teams were in the top 10 when they played. Game day was there. That in 15, that's not just another game. The Florida game is not just another game.
Right.
It's a big game every year because it's Florida. The Alabama game was big because I know Bama was top 10. I'm pretty sure Georgia was top 10 when we played that year. It was real early in the season. So I'll never change my mind about that. He tried too hard to downplay big games. Kids. Right. That's why kids go somewhere like Alabama or Georgia or Ohio State or Clemson or Florida or whatever. Any of these top 10, 15, 20 teams. That's why they go there, to play in big games, not to play in just another game. It's not, Georgia versus Alabama week 3 is not Purdue versus Iowa. It's not.
Right. Yeah.
No offense to Purdue or Iowa. I could name a lot of other games, but some games are bigger than others, and I think he downplayed it too much. And the other thing I'll never change my mind on about Mark Richt is that Mark Richt would walk into a post-game press conference, talk for 10 minutes, and if you had not seen the game, you have no idea who won or lost.
Right.
Losses did not bother him, and that's a problem. That's a problem for a coach, and it's a problem for a player. There's no such thing as an elite coach or an elite player who doesn't get pissed off when they lose. There's just no such thing as that. Michael Jordan says all the time, the losses hurt way more than the wins feel good. And you name the best 5 or 6 coaches or players or whatever, they will all tell you the same thing. I remember the losses longer than I remember the wins.
Right.
And Rick wasn't that way.
I mean, you look at Coach Saban. Like, how many times has he gotten fired up? Even like I've seen him get upset at games where they're trying to run the score up. They played Western Kentucky a few years ago, and he chewed. I don't remember what the score was at the time. I think they were beating them pretty bad, and they got like a false start penalty. He went over and he was chewing Kiffin out. And
you know why you do that? You do
Right.
that in the case of Kiffin. You do that because coaches need to coach the same for the entire game for obvious reasons. And you should treat players the same way. A player goes out and does something dumb in the third quarter and you're up by 40, he needs to be corrected, because whether it's later that year or whether it's next year, that kid's going to be playing in the first half of a game of a close game. And so, yeah, I agree with that. You've got to, you don't just get up by 40 and then say, okay, now nothing else matters. So yeah, I agree with Saban doing that.
Right.
So let's add Creeping Death sent me his phone number. So hold on just a second, Ballard, and we'll see about adding him in here too, and also. Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever heard of this guy. Has he been on before?
Yeah, he's been on too, and also.
Okay.
Good morning, in addition to all that as well.
Oh yeah, you're on with Ballard too.
Oh, hey Ballard, what's up, man?
What's up, Creeping Death? How you doing?
Pretty good.
Awesome.
I appreciate the call, Uncle Lou.
Yeah, no problem.
Kind of last minute.
No, yeah, that's fine. I had forgot when I started the show. BVD told me yesterday, but I had forgot when I started the show that he had to leave.
Well, I figured I'd come, help you out, help save the day there. So.
Yeah. Clearly, it needed saving. So.
Hey, man, I swear Slim Shady Canes and Matt from Gainesville sound just alike.
I never noticed that. I'll have to go back and listen.
You got to check it out. I don't know.
I can confirm that they are not the same person. Like that wasn't really Slim Shady calling in pretending to be someone named Matt from Gainesville. I can confirm that because after that whole debacle with him calling the Feinbaum show and crying about Uncle Lou, I found him, he found me on Twitter, and we went back and forth for a while on Twitter, but we later became friends. So I can confirm they're not the same person. In fact, Matt from Gainesville became the first person or company or anything ever to sponsor Uncle Lou. So I'll be forever grateful to him for that.
So then was he just, was he genuinely trying to start beef with you at that time? Or
he was legitimately mad. He had seen some YouTube videos, and he was legitimately mad. But after talking to him for a while on Twitter, I guess he finally realized that, I guess I wasn't as bad as he thought he was, or as he thought I was, or whatever. So he came around, and then he offered to. He was like, I own my own heating and air company. If you need a sponsor for the show or anything, let me know. So it ended up working out.
That's just weird.
Yeah, it was weird.
Start beef and now I'm a sponsor. So yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, for like 2 years. Yeah, for like 2 years he was the only sponsor I had.
Yeah.
And it's not that I have some huge channel now. I mean, I'm proud of what I have, but my channel was nothing back then compared to what it is now. I mean, nothing. And he was still willing to sponsor the show. So and even after I started getting other sponsors, I kept him on as a sponsor for a while at next to nothing. I mean, just because he was so kind to be the first one to do it, he ended up getting a lot of free advertising out of me, but he deserved it in my opinion. So, yep.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, if
Other
anyone
than-
wants to sponsor the Uncle Lou Show, just email me.
Other than what was that air conditioning company out of Athens in Atlanta?
That's him.
Oh, that was him.
That was
Okay.
him.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I didn't know it was the same one.
Lanier HVAC, I think, was the name of it or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. Yep, that was him.
Okay.
That was him. Speaking of sponsors, though, shout out to Tyler Boy _722, who's been sponsoring the morning show for the month of June. And a lot of you have gone and checked his channel out. If for some reason you haven't, please go check him out. It's when people sponsor the show, they're being kind to me. They're doing me a huge favor, basically. And so clearly I went and subscribed to him, but it would be a help to me if y'all went and subscribed to him too, so he feels like he's getting something out of his, out of the deal. So make sure you check him out, Tyler Boy _722, and he covers college football, but he covers other things too. So for all the typers who always want me to make videos about college basketball or the NFL, no can do, mostly, but Tyler Boy can do, so check him out, and thank you, Tyler Boy _722, for sponsoring the show during the month of June. And got another sponsor coming up starting next week. It's true. It's true. Yep. Anyway, back to whatever it is we were talking about. Which I guess was nothing. Okay. Well, I'll read Super Chats then. Slim Shady, thank you for the Super Chat, sir. He says, I can also confirm that I'm not Matt from Gainesville. I am, in fact, the real Slim Shady from Memphis. All right.
And he's not, and he's just imitating.
Slim Shady.
And he's
Will
a
he
truck
play stand
driver.
up?
He's a truck driver, not an HVAC company owner type person. So, however, if there's anyone in the Augusta area who is an HVAC type person, get in touch with Uncle Lou. I need some help.
Yeah, is that for your new studio? What are you thinking about as far as some air conditioning out there? Just a window unit?
No, I'm gonna get a ductless, mini split ductless system put out there.
Is that cost effective, or are you just kind of looking at?
It's cheaper to run than a window unit. It's way more expensive to buy and install, though. But it also works a lot better, and it's basically a traditional HVAC unit minus the ducts, because it's designed for one room, so you don't really need duct work. But it's got an outside condenser unit, that runs through the wall to a blower on the inside that you attach to the wall on the inside. And, depending on the size you get, it'll heat or cool up to like 1,500 square feet.
That's pretty good.
And they work really good, but so I don't know what does a window unit cost, $200 or $300? These are a lot more than that. But it's, first of all, I don't want to, window units are ugly. I just don't like them, and they're loud, and I don't need that aggravation. This one, because the condenser is outside, it's no more loud than a ceiling fan. It's just the air blowing out. So, and people say they work great, especially for something the size I'm doing, 300 square feet or whatever it is.
Right.
I'll get one that's designed for something about twice that size, just because it gets so humid here. They say, oh, this will heat or cool 300 square feet. Not when it's 110 degrees outside, it won't, Jack. Not here. So I'll have to get one, designed for a room a little bigger, but it'll be great. And it costs a lot to put in, but honestly, working in this garage in the summertime costs me money, because I can't sit out here and make, like yesterday. The reason I didn't do a video yesterday is because it was 105 degrees outside, which means it was about 130 in here. And I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it.
It always sucks when it's like that. Like, it's hotter inside than it's outside. That That should never be, sir.
Well,
No.
in the garage, that's the case, buddy.
Oh, in the garage. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you knew here or what, but yeah, this I'm actually in a garage right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not actually my grandmother's basement.
All right.
I wish it was, because chances are, if it was my grandmother's basement, it would be insulated and cooled.
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Well, Luke,
Yeah.
if you added a bed and a bathroom and a kitchen, you might not never have a reason to go back inside the house.
Yeah, I know. That's why Mrs. Lou told me it was a no-go. No bed and no plumbing, she said. We want you to have to come inside every once in a while. I said, okay.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could add those, but like maybe, down the road, if one of your kids stays home for college, it might be sort of like a little apartment, for them if they ever wanted to do that.
Right.
Well, then what would I do? I'd be back in the garage then?
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I
Or go
can't have that.
take their room over, their
Yeah,
bedroom
I
over.
can't have that. They can take their ass off to an apartment somewhere. That's what they can do. That's exactly what they can do.
Hey, Lou, did you ever get a chance to watch The Last Dance?
No.
I didn't either. I know they added it to Netflix. I added it to my list. I haven't seen it yet. Was it
Did
good?
they add it to Netflix, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
saw
didn't hear that.
too.
Okay.
It's at least coming soon to Netflix.
I still have it DVR'd, but I haven't watched it all yet.
If you followed any basketball in the 90s, especially the Bulls, it's like the nostalgia.
Oh,
hard.
yeah.
I mean, it's,
Yeah, that was the last time
it's
really
fun.
I did follow. I was a huge Michael Jordan fan,
Oh, yeah.
no doubt.
Yeah. And it kind of was, one thing that was interesting about it was like, you know how like, and this was a thing, recently, within the last, decade or so, that how players dress off the field. That's in all sports, really. I mean, a lot of times you see, of course, the Cam Newton stuff, where he dresses crazy sometimes. But in that time in the 90s, players off the court dressed in suits. You never hardly saw them in, like shorts and
Right.
T-shirts. They were really strict on the dress code off the court. I thought that was interesting because you always saw Jordan in a suit
Yeah.
pretty much out off the court. So.
Right.
I'm no basketball expert, but I remember the commissioner. He's not the commissioner now, but the commissioner before the commissioner now, David Stern. He was strict about that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
The new commissioner, and I can't think of his name off the top of my head, is very player friendly. So you see a lot less of that. Better show up in
Yeah.
a suit type thing now than you used to. But Waikiki,
Yeah,
thank you for the
David
super
Stern.
chat, sir. He says for a bathroom you could just get a planter's jar. I have seen people. Do that in the past live on YouTube during their live streams. Just whip out a peanut jar and pee in it. It's the weirdest thing.
I've been diagnosed with 7 mental
disturbing.
illnesses.
Very disturbing. It's even more disturbing when you actually see it. Hearing about it is bad enough.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's alarming would be a good word to use.
How's Chess and his new lady friend doing?
Don't have any idea. Haven't seen him in a while.
Okay.
Haven't seen him. He was a no-show here, two shows in a row when he was supposed to be on. So not sure what the status of TikTok Chess Hall is right now. Tyler P says, was that a bug that flew out of his mouth when he said 7? Let's watch again and see. Maybe it was.
I've been diagnosed with 7 mental illnesses.
You know what? I did see it that time. It flies down across his left arm. You might be onto something, Tyler P. I'm going to play it one more time. You guys, now if you're watching, it's on your right, but it's his left arm. Watch down his left arm when he starts talking.
I've been diagnosed with 7 mental illnesses.
Yeah, it's like right when he says mental illnesses. you can see something flying down his left arm. There's really no telling what that might be. Chess is doing a live morning show right now.
Are you serious?
Say no more, fam. Let's check it out.
I'm subscribed. Am I subscribed to him?
What is this?
Doesn't look like it.
TikTok Chess Hall. Big Guy Podcast Episode 3.
Hey Lou, I went and watched the taking a dump
Is that a
video.
picture of
Did
DVD?
you pull out of the toilet?
A piece of shit.
Seriously?
No. Some kind
Oh,
of
okay.
some
With
kind
your
of
bare hand.
some kind of
Like,
candy.
wow.
It was some kind of candy bar. I don't remember what kind it was. I put down in there.
Ah, okay. It looked like it. So
Right. Look at this
Do you
now.
have a picture of DVD when he's bald?
What's
As
the
a,
prediction of the 2021
thumbnail.
college football playoffs final?
of his live stream right now? That's at least what I'm seeing.
So
I thought
Hey.
Chess was just on TikTok. I didn't know he has a live YouTube.
you want to do a song?
Oh yeah, he's this guy is everywhere. This
Wow.
TikTok Chess Hall.
You want to do?
This guy's all over the place. This Chess Hall.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Did his previous lady friend break up with him because she talked about him or he talked about her on the show?
you know, I never really got an explanation on why. And because he overslept when he was supposed to come on the show, that question remains unanswered. So I don't know. Maybe he's talked about it on his channel and I haven't seen it. But so I don't know. Maybe somebody in the comment section knows what happened to his other girlfriend. I honestly don't. This is the third. The one he's got now, Babe or whatever, is the third girlfriend he's had in like, what's it been, 6 weeks or something since he's been coming around YouTube and on the morning show. This is the third girlfriend he's had. So.
Well, it would be surprising if she did because of that, because I think after she found it out, didn't she get a hotel for his birthday or something like that?
He said
So
she was, but
Yeah.
then the night that was supposed to happen, he was live streaming at his house by himself in the dark. So
maybe she changed her mind.
maybe she changed her mind, or maybe that was never supposed to happen anyway, and he just said it was. I don't know. But this is his third girlfriend in the whatever amount of time he's been coming around. So he has no problem getting the ladies. Now keeping them, that seems to be the issue.
Yeah.
Right.
That seems to be the issue. And now this one he's got now, he's never even met her.
Gotta learn how to keep them.
Yeah.
She was supposed to be on the show, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was supposed to be on the show, but this and that, and you know, I can't get up that early. You know, all this excuses. You know. So, but she is. I mean, she does exist because I've seen her on Chess's channel. Like she's on Chess's channel now, right now. You know, in a StreamYard or whatever. So, she definitely exists, but they've definitely never met either. So, not sure.
Hey, what press conference does BBD have to do?
He does some videography work for a local high school where he's at for their football team.
Oh, is it the Green Devils?
Yeah, the
where he's at?
Greenville Devils or whatever it is, and
Right.
and they their football coach quit a couple of weeks ago or something, and they've hired a new one, and the announcement was this morning at 10 a.m. or whatever. So he was going there to video the announcement. Yeah.
Is that the one he's a fan of too?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
He wears like a
Greenville Green Devils.
Yeah, he wears their hat all the time in his videos, and like I think he videos a lot of their games. He's done highlight film, different things like that. So he's not like an employee of the school or the school system or whatever. He somehow developed a relationship with whether it was the athletic director or the principal or the coaching staff or what, I'm not sure. And so they basically just give him a lot of leeway in terms of access during games and, you know, things like that. He's been on the sidelines and will film stuff, and so yeah, that's what that is. That would that be?
Yeah. Are you, Lou? Are you okay with the video, the live video of you driving to the Troll's house? Are you okay with that being on YouTube? Because I discovered it yesterday on there.
I mean, there's, you know, whatever. There's a million videos that people have uploaded to have me in it. I don't,
Wait,
I've seen it too, but I can't. I'm not chasing all those things down. I don't care.
Well, I was going to message them and tell them, you know, that
No,
they
I
need to
don't
take
care.
that down. But I don't know if you were comfortable with it.
No, I don't care.
Yeah. Okay.
You went to a troll's house?
Yeah.
Oh, I missed something.
If you didn't know, then yeah, you missed something.
Oh. Okay.
All right, Lou, throw me some questions.
Will we be playing football in October?
I'm gonna say yes.
Great.
But
That's great news.
But it's not going to be. There's going to be no fans, and I think only. Now, I don't know. I say yes, but it look like I have no idea, because how are you going to play? How's Clemson going to play if 20 players are testing positive?
Right.
You know, I mean, you can't have one major school test positive with that number of people, but then expect the playing field to be fair all the way around. I mean, it's going to be strange.
Yeah. Well, and here's the other thing. What do you do? And I've talked about this a lot. Georgia plays East Tennessee State week 2. All right. At some point, testing becomes financially impossible. You know, maybe East Tennessee State can afford to test once a week. I don't know. You know, but I feel like Georgia has to dictate to NC State, East Tennessee State, I want all your players tested on Friday. All of them. I don't care if you tested them on Wednesday. I don't care what. Either they're all tested on Friday or we're not playing you.
Right.
And let's say they agree to do it. You have to trust them. And that goes for everybody. You know, Alabama's got to trust Georgia when we play them. Georgia's got to trust South Carolina when we play South Carolina. South Carolina's got to trust Tennessee.
Right.
When they play Tennessee.
I think it comes down
to, because you cannot force anyone to release medical information. You can't. So it's going to be the honor system. And what do we know about college football? People will, I won't use the word cheat, but people will look for literally any advantage they can get. Any advantage they can get. And I really hope nobody plays any games when it comes to this corona testing, because that would just be, that's worse than paying players. You know, that's worse than buying a recruit. You're literally playing with the health and safety of people. And, you know, they're 20 years old. If they get it, they'll be fine. Great. Every 20-year-old has a grandmother. You know? Right. So, but a lot of trust has to be involved here. I don't think Georgia should play East Tennessee State week 2. I don't think they should. I think they should cancel the game now. Why are you going to risk that? Why? It makes no sense to me. I don't get it. What are you going to learn about Georgia in week 2? Nothing.
But then, will that affect their record as far as wins and losses, and could that affect their, playoff chances?
I don't think canceling a game with East Tennessee State would have any impact at all on the rankings or the playoffs or anything else. I mean, what do we say as fans every time in a normal year, when we play a team like East Tennessee State, what do we say all week? Oh, I just want to get out of this game with no injuries. Well, what about the coronavirus? You know, I don't see where it's worth the risk. I mean, there's some people who don't think it's worth the risk for us to play Alabama or South Carolina or Florida. I mean, there's some people who say we shouldn't play at all. I don't see how you justify playing a team like East Tennessee State in week 2. I just don't. It makes no sense to me. None. If Georgia beats East Tennessee State 100-0, what is that going to prove?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Not a damn thing.
Alabama has had
They play Georgia State week 2. Why should they play that game? Why?
I don't know.
Why should they pay Georgia State $1 million to come to Tuscaloosa with how many people come? 200? When you talk about players, coaches, staff, all that, how many are coming? 200?
Maybe.
For what? Why?
A beatdown is what.
Alabama should give them their $1 million to stay home. Georgia should give East Tennessee State their $1 million, or whatever the amount is. I'm making the amounts up, but you guys know how this works. You pay these smaller teams to come get beat. Unless you're Tennessee, you pay them to come beat you. But the point remains the same. Georgia should just pay East Tennessee State whatever the agreement is in the contract and be done with it. There's no point in playing that game. Why? Forget Georgia. What if Alabama plays Georgia State and then Sunday, Mac Jones and Bryce Young test positive for the coronavirus?
We don't have a quarterback.
Then what are you going to do week 3 against Georgia? What if Dylan Moses tests positive? And you got to look back and say, man, we just lost half our team so that we could beat Georgia State by 50 points. I don't see where it makes any sense at all, especially if you're going to not have fans, because then you're not even missing out on any revenue.
Right.
You know? You're not missing out on any revenue if there's no fans in the stadium anyway. You might as well not play the game against East Tennessee State or Georgia State. And that goes for every team in the SEC or anywhere, really, that's playing a lower classification team. I'm not suggesting we should cancel the Virginia game. Okay, fine. That's a Power 5 game. Fine, play it. Now, if the decision is made to go to a conference-only schedule, I'm okay with that too, but that decision hasn't been made. So fine, play Virginia week 1. Georgia, that's fine. Whatever. But why play East Tennessee State? Why? It makes no sense to me.
You're risking so much to play a team that you're going to beat like 200, 500, whatever to nothing, just to run the score up late in the fourth and everything.
I mean, look, I'm a Georgia fan. We've got a new quarterback, a new coordinator. We've had no offseason. I would love for us to have a week 2 game against a nobody where we can go out there and iron out the wrinkles and all that kind of stuff. So if I was being purely selfish from just a football perspective, yeah, play the game.
Right.
But to me, the risk is just not worth the reward to play East Tennessee State in week 2. I don't know if I'm in the minority on that opinion. I wasn't looking at the comments. I'm looking at them now. What do you guys in the comments think? And apply it. You know, you can answer the Georgia question if you want, or the Alabama question about them playing Georgia State week 2, or just look at your own team's schedule.
We get Kent State week 4. So.
Yeah, take your biggest game of the year, and see if you're playing a lower classification school before that. And if you are, here I'll pull up a couple of the schedules just out of curiosity, and we'll see who in the comment section thinks it's worth the risk. Here we go. Let me see here.
Is Georgia practicing right now?
Off-season voluntary workouts, which we all know what voluntary workouts mean. It means it's code for mandatory. Yeah. Where is this?
Are they quarantining the players or trying to do something?
Georgia is staying in that. Georgia has basically rented out that entire hotel right there by the practice field. Okay, here you go. Florida. Florida has to play at Tennessee. Florida has to play at Tennessee on September 26th. I think that's a big game. I think most people would agree. The week before that, Florida hosts South Alabama. Why play that game? Why?
Don't they play Eastern Washington to open the season too?
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, but that's before Kentucky. I'm trying to find big games that the week before the big game you play a nobody.
Right.
So you play New Mexico State on now. That's towards the end of the season. If you made it, if we make it that far in the season, by then you'll know that it's safe to play or not anyway. So forget that. But these are early games here. So September 19th, you play South Alabama. Then you got to play on the road at Tennessee. Mm-hmm. Why play South Alabama? So if there's Florida fan in the comment section, let me know. Do you think that's worth the risk, Celine Driver? All the Florida fans, is that worth the risk? You play Eastern Washington week 1, then you play Kentucky, then you play South Alabama, and you play at Tennessee. Is it worth it to play South Alabama? You'll already have played 2 games. You'll know what kind of team you have by then. Why risk it? That's my thought.
Right.
Blake says Arkansas plays Nevada before they play Notre Dame. Okay. Why? I don't think it's worth it.
Penn State opens up with Kent State, then plays Virginia Tech. That's in Blacksburg. So, I mean, say whatever you want about Virginia Tech. I mean, I guess they're all right, but I mean, still, you're playing Kent State.
Let me ask you this, because this happens sometimes, and we've all seen the reaction something like this gets. A team is up by 30 points in the second half. This happened to somebody. Didn't this happen to Tua last year?
Maybe. What happened?
Your team is up by 30 points.
Mm-hmm.
You leave your starting quarterback in the second half, and he breaks his leg. What does everybody say? Why was he in the game?
Right.
Why was he in the game?
Should have let him rest.
What do you think's going to happen if half your team gets coronavirus playing the Helen Keller School of the Blind the week before your biggest game of the year? What is everybody going to say? Why did we play that game? That's exactly what they're going to say. Why did we play that game?
Chances of your most important players getting tested positive, and then they can't play, and you lose a lot of key pieces for a game that you need to play. You know?
Yeah.
So.
And then,
Lou,
what is the, the playoff committee has said publicly, since they first started doing this, that they take injuries into account for like a 1 or 2 loss team that maybe lost the game because of a key injury. What does the playoff committee do if Georgia beats Alabama week 3, but 6 of Alabama's starters couldn't play because of coronavirus, and Alabama ends up 10-2 and doesn't win the West, but is obviously one of the best 4 teams at the end of the year?
Well, they should take in. I guess they would have to.
I would assume that they would treat it like an injury, and you know what I mean. Say, well, we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt because they had 6 players out. But what if it happens? Because here's the thing: right now, if they test positive right now, they're quarantined for 14 days.
You can't control.
You're missing 2 games here. You're missing 2 games. You test positive, you're missing 2 games, unless you test positive during a bye week. Test positive, you're missing 2 games.
That's it.
It's going to be weird. Even if we play all 12 regular season games, it's going to be really weird, isn't it? Is there anybody? Let me ask you: is there anybody in the comment section who thinks all 22 of your starters are going to make it through the year without testing positive? Is there anybody that thinks that? I think it would be a miracle if none of your top, and a lot of teams rotate players like at the running back position, defensive line. So let's say your top 35 players. Is there anybody that thinks none of your top 35 players are going to miss a game because of coronavirus? I find it hard to believe.
Because Bama's already had players test positive, as I mentioned, but I think that at least a couple players that are starters might actually test positive. I'm not saying they all are or a lot of them are.
Yeah.
I mean, like, what if, take Najee Harris, what if he tests positive?
Yeah. If I had $100 and I had to bet yes or no, I would bet yeah. One of your starters is missing some time. I would bet on it. I don't want that to happen, obviously, but if I had to bet $100 one way or the other, I would say, yeah, one of your top 30, 35, whatever it is, players you rotate in or out, somebody's testing positive somewhere along the line.
Justin Ross at Clemson, didn't he test or no, he just had an injury. He's probably not going to play. Never mind.
Here's the other thing. It's not very likely that you're ever going to have one player test positive. That's not very likely. If you have one player test positive, let's say it's a defensive lineman, it's very possible every defensive lineman on your team could test positive because you have position group meetings. You're spending, if you're a defensive lineman, you're spending the majority of your time at practice around the other defensive linemen or touching offensive linemen on every play. You could have a situation where your top 8 offensive and defensive linemen test positive in the same week. I mean, then what do you do?
Right.
It's going to be weird. It's going to be real weird. That's why I kept saying this will be the year Georgia wins the Natty. And I'll have to spend the rest of my life having people tell me, yeah, Georgia won the Natty, but it was coronavirus Natty when nobody was playing. They still give us hell about the 1942 Natty because it was during World War II, and you had a lot of players that were in Europe or whatever, So I could just imagine, just the way Georgia's luck has been going lately, I could just see that happening, that somehow the regular season is shortened to 7 or 8 games or something, and they have a weird playoff or something, and Georgia somehow gets in and wins it.
But who have Georgia played, Will?
Right.
Boy, they played.
Yeah, they won the Natty, but who did they play? They played half of Alabama. Whoopity-doo. The Florida game got canceled. There was no SEC championship game. And you won a pretend playoff.
For a second, kids.
Yeah.
I hate to interrupt for a second. Now, how much do you think the offense Todd Monken is working on right now? I mean, you think he's, doing something with the offense, if anything?
Yeah, I think he's doing the best he can, but
meetings or
clearly would have been nice to have 5 weeks of spring practice that we didn't have. I mean, I do think that's going to have and Georgia's not the only team in that boat, so I do think that's going to have an effect. I do. I think Georgia will be better at the end of the season than they are at the beginning if we play an entire season. It's one of the reasons I picked us to lose to Alabama. I just, our offensive line is brand new. I mean, all the guys have played because we had so many injuries last year. But as far as a unit, it's basically a new offensive line, and it takes offensive lines a while to learn how to play together as a unit and throw the brand new quarterback, new offensive philosophy. That's one of the reasons I picked Georgia to lose that and Kirby's record on the road in the SEC West. That's one of the reasons I picked Alabama to win that game. But right now I would like Georgia's chances better in December than I would in week 3.
Right.
Did you see where the charges against Devontae Wyatt were dropped?
Oh no, were they?
Yep.
Well,
Who's that?
That's good news. Because he probably would have missed the Virginia game at a minimum.
Is he a defensive player?
A defensive lineman, probably our best one.
Okay. So you might get him.
What did he have? A marijuana charge? What was his charge?
Who?
That was the one where it was he was something about domestic violence. I think he kicked the door in of somebody's house or apartment, and apparently him and this girl were living together, and so they charged him with I think domestic violence or something like that.
You see where a couple months ago Tom Brady was in Florida when he first got to the Buccaneers, and he broke into that one guy's house thinking it was the
I saw that.
He's like, wait a minute, and then this guy shows up and he's like, holy crap, Brady's in my living room. He thought it was Byron Leftwich's house. That was hilarious.
Yeah, didn't Brady also get in trouble for something else, like breaking into a practice facility or something? He got in some other trouble in Tampa for something else, I thought.
I didn't see that. I just saw where he accidentally broke to that guy's house, and this guy's like, "Sweet."
Yeah, I think he's renting Derek Jeter's house, I believe, in Tampa.
Yeah.
I think I remember seeing that too. Can someone close the door? Oh, it's after 10 o'clock. We got to end this thing.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, thank you for coming on today. I really appreciate it. With BVD having to leave early, you guys were a lifesaver. So big shout out to both of y'all for coming on, and we'll talk to you again. We'll talk to you again soon. All right, appreciate everybody tuning in this morning. Shout out to everybody who helped support the show through the super chat today. Warzone, Tyler P, Ballard, Celine Driver, Waikiki, Slim Shady, Warzone, Creeping Death, and Tyler P. And over on the PayPal page, we had Waikiki as well. So thank you. Thank you to everybody that tuned in this morning, everybody that gave this video a thumbs up, everyone that shared it, and everyone in the comment section for participating. That's really what makes these live shows work, is the comment section. So I appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys being active in here today and sticking around to the end. So shout out to you guys, Jeff Webster, Tyler P, 45 every time. I don't recognize that name, but I'm glad you're here, sir. Bad Dog, Nick Kostopoulos, 2022, Joseph Sandberg, Rubber Nose, Warzone, Vodka Drinker, Dago, Ballard, RMF Tide, Sports Expert 101, Bob the Barner, Not Just Rocks, Jerome Pruitt, VT. Appreciate all of you tuning in. Today is Tuesday, so no morning show tomorrow. We do this Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. But we do have the night show tonight at 10 o'clock, the college football call-in show. So make sure you guys tune in for that. 10 p.m. Eastern. I take phone calls from all over. We talk college football. Look forward to seeing all of you there. And at 11 p.m., we'll see if we can do fan versus fan. We'll get two fans, put them on the phone at the same time, and let them argue. Sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's not. We'll see what happens tonight. But again, big shout out to all you guys for tuning in today. And we'll do it again very, very soon. Does that sound fair? Well, that's not fair. All right. See you guys tonight at 10 o'clock.
change my ways just to please you or appease you. Here, look at this crowd, 9,000 proud, willing to punch it out. Right or wrong, weak, strong, ashes to ashes, all fall down. No, look around about this roundabout, this merry-go-round and around. If it all God's gaze upon us falls, it's with a mischievous grin. Look at him, forget about the reason and the treasons we are seeking. Forget about the notion that our emotion can we get that way. Forget about being guilty, we have no sentence instead. For soon we will all find our lives swept away. Oh, look at me in my fancy car and my bank account. Oh, how I wish I could take it all down to my grave. God knows I'd save and save, man. Take a look again, take a look again. Things you have collected, well, in the end it all piles up so tall to one big nothing at all. Forget about the reason and the treason we are seeking. Forget about the notion that our emotion can make it that way. Forget about being guilty, we are innocent instead. For soon we will all find our lives swept away. And you know how it is. You seek up an emotion and your cup is overflowing. You seek up an emotion, sometimes your will is dying. You seek up a big monster for him to fight your wars for you. But when he find his way to you, the devil's got a gold. Oh, say, late at night with TV's hungry child, his belly swells. Well, for the price of a Coke or a smoke, I could keep alive those hungry eyes. Man, take a look again, take a look again, take a look again. Every day things change. Basically, they stay the same. Forget about the reason and the treasons we are seeking. Forget about the notion that our emotion can make it that way. Forget about being guilty, we are innocent instead. But soon we will all find our lives swept away. And you know how it is. You seek up an emotion and your cup is overflowing. You seek up an emotion, sometimes your will is dying. yourself in love for a table